Hey, I want to share this part of this chapter of this book I'm reading by Rakim. It's called Strong Island to Latin Quarter, where he talks about performing at this iconic club called the Latin Quarter. Once again, but before I do that, um, please like the video if you like the content, subscribe to the channel, and leave a message for me. Strong Island to Latin Quarter. We did our first show at a club on Long Island. We performed Eric B as president, My Melody, and a freestyle. Three songs for $1,500. We did a few more shows before Eric booked us at the legendary Latin Quarter, the most famous, most notorious, and most prestigious rap club in the city. The Latin Quarter was in Manhattan in Times Square at 200 West 48th Street, between 7th Avenue and Broadway. Back in the day, this was the club known as the Cotton Club South. Milton Berle, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and the Nicholas Brothers had all performed there. By 1986, it was a burlesque club during the week, but Friday and Saturday nights hip hop took over, and everyone who was anyone in the hip hop game performed there, or DJ'd there, or went there to hang. Overnight, it became the center of the rap universe. The host and stage manager was Paradise Gray, who a few years later would form part of the group X Clan. Paradise had a knack for getting industry reps in the rooms, not ARs, actual label heads from companies like Profile and Tough City Records, who showed up every night. A lot of careers were made and ended on that stage. Label owners like Tom Silverman and Monica Lynch, Tommy Boy Records, Fred Menil, Select Records, and of course Russell Simmons' Def Jam recordings were regularly in the crowd. The saying associated with Latin Quarter was that you could perform on Friday and have a record deal by Monday. The house DJs were Red Alert and Chuck Chill Out, the hottest two turntablists in New York City. Their radio shows reached as far as Connecticut and as far as Philly. So people came in from Connecticut, Long Island, New Jersey, and of course the illest people from each of the five boroughs showed up. The club's location made it a bit of a neutral territory, but there was a lot of tension, violence, robberies, and stabbings. Paradise had a vision for the Latin Quarter as a hip hop dance club, so people came there to dance to hip hop. Paradise even had his own house dancing crews, not break dancers, but hip hop freestyle dancers, the IOUs and the Jacks. Before the Latin Quarter, hip hop acts traveled with a DJ, a rapper, and a hype man. After the Latin Quarter, folks added dancers to the performance. All of these dynamics earned the Latin Quarter its reputation as the hardest place to perform. It was one of those places where you couldn't come in with nothing but your A game. You had to be 100% on point. The day before I was hitting the stage, I thought a lot about my Aunt Ruth Brown, the famous R&B singer who had five number one hits in the 1950s and won a Tony for Best Actress in the 80s. She really wasn't my aunt. She was my parents' close friend. Moms used to drop me off at her house when I was little, and I'd sit and watch her get ready to perform. She put everything she had into every show. The work would start hours before she hit the stage. When she pulled out her clothes and used clothing glue to put glitter all over her stuff until she looked like she belonged in the Supremes. She spent the entire day getting ready for her shows. It was like she had only one thing to do that whole day. That's a little something I took from her and never have changed. Show day is show day. I have my routine pretty much set from the time I'm supposed to hit the stage, counting backwards to the time I wake up. On the day of the Latin Quarter show, I spent the complete day preparing. I didn't drink or smoke. I chose my outfit early. I managed my mood. I stayed focused all day long and acted like I had just one thing to do that day. I thought 1 million times about the three songs I was going to do. I had learned from Aunt Ruth that to be good on stage, I had to be myself while knowing that I was being watched by a lot of people. I focused on what it'd be like to have everyone staring at me. The tension kept my back tight all day long. When Paradise Gray and Red Alert introduced Eric and me, although the place was said to hold only 600, it looked like it must have been 800 to 1,000 people there, wall to wall. The stage was like 15 feet high, so the crowd had to look straight up at me. I hit the stage that night imagining that I had the rock hard stature of a big time football player. The crowd saw me and half of them cheered. Those cheers sent a jolt of energy through my body. I was ready to rock. we did My Melody first, and I remember seeing people bob their heads to it, but nobody was dancing. I was like, damn, what do I have to do? What do I have to do cartwheels to get them into me? As soon as we threw them on the beat, as soon as we threw on the beat for Eric B as president, and before I had said a word, the IOU dancers and the JAC Jack dancers rushed to the floor. I started rhyming and the whole building roared. Now they were mine. In that song, the sample says, clap your hands. But there was a heavy echo on that line, and people thought it said, whop your head. The whop was a huge dance back then where you'd rock your head and arms from side to side to the beat. As I moved around the stage, I saw everyone in the crowd doing the whop. The crowd was dancing so hard I looked at them, thinking this place is on fire right now. I had conquered one of the biggest stages in all of rap. I felt unstoppable. After that, Eric and I did shows at Union Square and the Rooftop, two major venues for rap back then, and a couple of spots in New Jersey. At one club date, I met one of my favorite rappers of all time, Kool Moe Dee. I learned a lot about MCing by listening to his smooth flows and his wittiness and his deep, gravelly voice. His rhymes showed me how to grab someone's attention. Everything Mo said was dope, and that night Kool Moe Dee said he really liked my records. He said my work felt sincere. That meant a lot coming from a great MC. A month later in the club, I ran into Marl and Shan, and I hadn't seen them since we were at Marley's house. Marley grabbed me and said, I see what you're doing back at that studio. Shan was right beside him. We get it now. They both said together, smiling at me with real love and affection. So once again, this was out of Rakim's book where he talks about performing at the iconic Latin Quarter Club. Please leave a message if you've been there. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.